This is exactly where the killer parked the car.
How many other murders do you think this person is responsible for?
Spanning more than 5,000 square miles.
She is a clear and present danger.
From the mysteries buried on the Treasure Coast.
I think someone broke into her house to burglarize the house and murder her.
They just don't know how they would know, unless they were there watching.
We investigate the dark side of the sunny Palm Beaches.
Until she's found, I would never leave.
And the rich clues hidden in the farmlands of Okeechobee.
Somebody had killed her, yes, and she was dead.
You're watching Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape with Tiffany Kenny, Todd McDermott, Felicia Rodriguez, and the Justice Network's John Walsh.
The killer manhunt starts right now. Murderers hiding among us in the tropical paradise of South Florida.
We're about to expose the most intimate details of local unsolved crimes.
We start on the Treasure Coast, where detectives have been investigating leads on a cold case for 23 years.
They've zeroed in on one person who could possibly be linked to 3 other killings in Florida.
Possibly the last face Mary Ellen Wise might have seen in the final flickering seconds of her beautiful life.
This old Honda CRX could unlock the mystery to a 1992 abduction and murder in Indian River County.
There are so many people that loved Mary Ellen, and there's so many people that are still suffering terribly. Just the not knowing.
Mary Ellen Wise was just 39 years old.
She was my baby sister. She's 5 years younger than me. Yeah, that's at my mom's house.
She looks very happy.
She was always happy. She was a quiet, shy person with anyone that she didn't know. Cute as a button. You see her picture over there. And she loved Florida. She absolutely loved it down here.
But here, in this quaint seaside Florida town, is where Mary Ellen was taken forever from her family.
Did she struggle?
We believe that she did, yes. She had massive trauma to the body, and she was brutally beaten to death. The houses are close by, and all the neighbors were interviewed back then, and no one had heard any yelling or any kind of commotion.
Indian River County Sheriff's Detective Greg Farless took us back to the Vero Beach home where it's believed Mary Ellen unknowingly opened her door to a murderer.
She was home alone. There was no signs of forced entry. So we believe that she did know her killer.
Your sister was a cautious person.
Yes, she was.
She's just not going to open the door to anybody.
Exactly.
So you think she knew her killer?
I feel sure of it, yes.
We believe that she was forced to drive to a bank in Melbourne to withdraw money, then back to her bank in Vero Beach to withdraw more money.
An alert bank teller who knew Mary Ellen noticed something strange.
He even made comment to me about how she usually pulled right in at the wall,
Right next to the window.
Right next to the window, and this time she was clear in the third lane. And he even teasingly said something like, "Oh, don't you like me anymore?" Something like that. And she just laughed. But, there was obviously somebody right there in the car.
One day later, Mary Ellen's car was found here at the Fort Pierce boat ramp at Seaview and Indian River Drive.
This area looks very much like it did 23 years ago.
Not much has changed. It's about the same. There's a few trees missing, but it's about the same.
So Mary Ellen's car was found in this exact location. This is it?
Yes, ma'am. This is exactly where the killer parked the car. We're hoping that somebody would remember this. We believe that when the killer parked the car here, someone unknowingly gave the killer a ride. They might have been offered money.
For more than 2 decades, Mary Ellen's car has been in Pennsylvania. After all these years, it could hold the key to solving her murder.
We located the car. The owner in Pennsylvania said that we could have the car. He knew we wanted to assist in our investigation. There was no engine in it, but he said the same interior is intact, and we had our crime scene with new techniques they use today they didn't use back then, processed the car again, and we're sending that evidence off to be tested also.
You believe that whoever the killer is, that person had to fit into this part of the car.
Yes, I do.
Because at the bank, the teller said she didn't see anybody in the car.
Nobody
with Mary
in the
Ellen.
car. Nobody in the car. It's a tight fit back there. Matter of fact, it's not even really seats back there. So we believe that the killer was medium to small build.
A killer who knew the area well. Mary Ellen's body was found 6 days later in rural western St. Lucie County at Peanut Lake, a popular hunting and fishing spot. She still had on her house slippers.
I don't think this person has a conscience. It's not like I think they're suffering. I don't believe that at all. I think they thought they got away with it. And they're just as happy as a clam going on with their life. And that's not right.
Even more, detectives now believe, based on evidence, Mary Ellen's murderer may have killed before.
Do you believe the person who committed this crime could be responsible for other crimes in Florida?
I do believe that. I don't think this is the first time that this person killed somebody. And this person still resides in Florida.
How many other murders do you think this person is responsible for?
It's hard to say. I believe that approximately three other murders.
Women?
2 women and one man.
So you believe the person of interest in Mary Ellen's case is connected to at least 3 other murders in Florida?
Possibly, yes.
Detective Farless says he will never give up on Mary Ellen's case. He is hoping for that one tip that could finally lead to an arrest. If you remember anything from that November day back in 1992, no matter how insignificant you think it is, call the Indian River County Sheriff's Office.
Now south to Boca Raton for 2 cold cases connected to the Town Center Mall. Randy Gorenberg left the mall around 1 p.m. on March 23, 2007 after a day of shopping. She was later found dead, shot in the head, dumped at Governor Lawton Childs Memorial Park in Delray Beach. Her SUV was found 2 miles away behind a Home Depot. Detectives with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office identified suspects from as far away as Miami. They believe 2 or 3 people may be involved. A $15,000 reward is out for information that leads to the arrest. Months later, the same year, Nancy Bukikio and her daughter Joey were kidnapped from the parking lot of the same mall in December. Boca Raton police believe the victims were abducted and forced to drive to an ATM and take out $500. Their bodies were found bound and shot in their idling SUV right there in the Town Center Mall parking lot. Nancy's cell phone and credit cards were found in Miami-Dade. Police say they believe some kidnapping supplies were also bought in Miami-Dade. This is the last suspect sketch in the case. A white Hispanic man, 18 to 25 years old, 5 feet 10 to 6 feet 1 inches tall, medium build, with a ponytail. There is a $400,000 reward for information on the crimes. There's widespread speculation that these 2 separate cases could be linked. Felicia?
Now to a story that captured the nation's attention back when missing children reports didn't make the headlines. More than 3 decades after she vanished, Christy Luna's mother still has far-reaching hope her daughter will still come home.
Until she's found, I would never leave. Just in case someday maybe she could come home. She would know her way here.
Time stopped 32 years ago, the day Jenny Johnson's 8-year-old daughter, Marjorie Christy Luna, vanished.
In the back of my mind, to be able to cope with this, I think that a couple wanted a little girl and took her, and that's how I cope. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I try not to think the worst because it's just too hard to deal with.
It was Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, May 27th, 1984. The family had just returned from a trip. Jenny put on a movie for Christy, then took a nap.
My other daughter wakes me up and says, "Mom, Christy's not here." So I get up and I start searching, and everybody I know I call, nobody's seen her, and then I call the police.
We know she left the house. We know she went to Belk's store.
Since day one, Detective William Springer with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office hasn't stopped working the case.
We've never been able to find somebody who actually saw Christy being taken by somebody.
Springer says Christy walked to the Green Acres grocery, now called the Belk General Store. It was just a few hundred feet from her home. She bought cat food. No one knows what happened after that.
We've never found a witness who saw her getting into a car, walking away from the store, or anything to give us a starting point on this investigation.
But in recent years, there have been some new leads. Women who grew up in the same Green Acres neighborhood have now come forward.
We all grew up in this neighborhood. We all knew Christy. Christy was a friend. She was a classmate.
Back in the early 80s, Brenda Periche says she was approached by a man at the Ira Van Bullock Park.
And he asked if we had lost any change in the men's bathroom and stated that if we wanted to come and get it, we could come and get it when he was finished.
Brenda was about 10 years old and told her mother, who reported it to Green Acres police. And she's not the only one. Jennifer Robb also remembers a man luring her into the men's bathroom at that same park.
And I started collecting the change, and I was scooting around on the floor, and my back was to the door. And I heard a sound. And when I turned around, the man was standing there without any clothes on.
Jennifer says she froze.
And within a flash, I was being tossed into the stall on the side, and I was knocked unconscious. I was in and out of consciousness, and I remember him on top of me, the weight of him on top of me, and I couldn't move. I was absolutely pinned under his body.
Oddly enough, she does remember hearing a familiar voice.
He was trying to remove my underwear. And I remember hearing Christy come in saying, "What are you doing to my friend? What are you doing to my friend?" And she sounded terrified and scared, and I heard a thud, and that was the last I remember.
Jennifer tells me the memories were so painful, she blocked them out for years and never told her parents.
That was the last time I saw Christy. We don't know what happened to her after that.
Jennifer finally told police in 2007, but this is her first time talking on camera.
This day must haunt you. It has for a very long time.
Hoping for leads, Jennifer and Brenda started a Facebook page.
We just felt like this was a perfect opportunity to get conversations going, to help people with their memory, and share what they remember.
I truly, truly believe that there's somebody out there that actually knows who did it and can probably tell us where her body is. Or, I mean, it's possible she's still alive. I don't ever want to rule that out.
There were no eyewitnesses and no physical evidence, just a list of potential suspects, close to 6 men, some in and out of jail, others have already died.
There's nobody that we can positively say beyond a reasonable doubt that they're the ones that are responsible.
Kids that were her age at the time may know something that could come forward now. And please help us to solve this case. We're so close.
Christy Luna would be 40 years old. This is what she would look like today, a grown woman last seen as a child on that Green Acres road.
I always vision her walking up my front step. That's my dream, but in the back of my mind, I know 32 years later, it's probably not gonna happen, but to bring closure, to bring her home and lay her to rest.
And Jenny, Christy Luna's mother, tells me she knows there are a lot of people her daughter's age that are on Facebook that may remember something. Any little bit of information could be the clue detectives need.
And that would give the family some peace.
Absolutely.
Christy Luna's local case was the first to utilize the then newly founded National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to alert the community, headed by Executive Director Nancy McBride.
Christy is Palm Beach County's child. And we can see there's a lot of interest on social media from people who either knew her or think they might know something about that park or something about who took her.
In 1984, John Reve Walsh and other child advocates founded the nonprofit organization to serve as a national clearinghouse and resource center.
I find out that the NCIC, the National Crime Information Computer, is loaded with millions of felony files, stolen cars, stolen boats, stolen planes, and one stolen racehorse, but not one missing child, not one unidentified dead child.
Over the last 32 years, the hotline has received more than 4.3 million calls. They've circulated billions of photos of missing children and assisted law enforcement in the recovery of more than 227,000 missing children.
Coming up, the missing link to the possible killer connection on the Treasure Coast on Chronicle Crime Files Behind the Tape. You're watching Chronicle Crime Files Behind the Tape.
Okeechobee is a town that When I say most people know each other, it's a town where they really do. And if they don't know them by name, they know them by face.
This is not the big city, so people in small communities, they talk.
Absolutely.
In April of 1999, the whispers around town were about Margaret Burnham and her son Thomas, who lived in this house.
She was a real old lady, maybe in her 80s, 90s, and she just come out, sit on the porch.
17 years later, I went back to the crime scene and found a neighbor, Armando Gutierrez. He says he was home when Thomas found his mother.
I mean, he was running towards my house, and he was yelling, "Mondo, Mondo, call the law, call the law." And I said, "What's wrong? What happened?" And he said, "Somebody killed Mama." So I went over there, and I went to the back room, and yes, she was, somebody had killed her. Yes, I went in there and saw her, and she was dead. Yes.
Her throat had been cut. She was attacked in her room, a very violent attack. Suggests that somebody was either very mad with her or in a state of mind that they were just very vicious about it.
The door was unlocked, nothing was out of place, and Margaret was in bed, still wearing her ring.
Here again, we have other evidence that were found in the scene that may be relevant. It makes you think that there was some other reason why they attacked her.
Over the years, many people were questioned, including a caretaker who also lived at the home. There are still rumors claiming the son, Thomas, knew more. He now lives in Kentucky. We do know there was an insurance policy up to $50 grand, but that was never proven as a motive. Felicia?
Our next case takes us to the Treasure Coast. The story begins at the St. Lucie Inn Bar in 2006. It ends with Dory Ann Myers missing, her car and house set on fire.
She was hanging out, having some drinks. She met two gentlemen who claimed to have been in the military, who had got injured and were just coming home. She had some drinks with them, and then she left around 11 p.m. with them.
Detective Ron Wentz with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office says the three ended up back at Myers' Lakewood Park home.
Approximately 3 a.m. on January 11, 2006, 911 was called by a neighbor. They had heard some loud talking, and then they heard some car doors slam, and about 5 or 10 minutes later they heard what sounded like a train.
The neighbors saw Myers' home engulfed in flames. 3 hours later, around 6 a.m., her car was found some 80 miles away in Glades County. It too had been torched.
Why did they burn the car?
To cover up evidence.
Investigators weren't able to get fingerprints or any DNA from the car or house. They were destroyed. This month is the 11-year anniversary, and tips have come in recently, but there are still no viable suspects. If you have any information, call the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. Todd and Tiff?
19 years ago in Port Salerno, 2 women were killed within 2 days of each other.
Detectives believe the suspect is hiding in Mexico, and they fear he could be watching and preying on other women right now.
This is a picture of the bloody handprint. I remember my first thought was, I'm afraid we've got a serial killer.
In 1997, Martin County Sheriff William Snyder was a captain when he was called to an abandoned trailer in Port Salerno. On May 10th of that year, Miranda Kale was found inside, naked, her head crushed.
Based on the severity of the violence, we believe that the victim was kicked to death by the suspect while she laid on the ground.
That case is now in the hands of Detective Dan DeLocke. He's re-examining clues like that handprint and the boot found with the tip smashed in, and the possible killer's connection to another victim.
2 days later, got another phone call. Another body had been found. This one also in advanced decomposition, just a short walk from where our first homicide occurred.
Children found Tara Lynn Kirstein in the woods, strangled, nude, and covered with wood.
We feel pretty confident that the overwhelming likelihood is that Medina Gomez is in fact the killer of both of these young women.
This picture is of Adrian Medina Gomez. This was taken on the street just 2 days before the first homicide was discovered. In the second case, he was actually seen with the victim, which was Tara Kirstein. He was seen with her the night of her death or possibly the night before.
Deputies believe Adrian Medina Gomez, an immigrant, slipped over the border to Mexico.
There's no indication that he would have stopped once he left here.
As for Miranda Kale, she left behind 2 children, one just 8 years old when her mother was killed.
He doesn't deserve to be living. He doesn't deserve to be breathing the same air that I do. He's awful. He took something that meant a lot to me and a lot to the other kids away. And my family, he just tore it apart.
He is a clear and present danger, and we would do anything we could to get him back. He could have come back into this country, and he could be really, as we sit here, stalking women somewhere in the United States.
Medina has a warrant out for his arrest for Miranda Kale's murder. As for Terrell and Kirstein's case, he's a person of interest.
And Todd, there is a third victim here.
There is, and the crime happened before. Medina also a prime suspect in another attack on a woman in the same area a month and a half before the murders. She survived.
There's a lot of things I've forgotten, but that's one thing you don't forget.
Next, the investigation into a haunting mystery in Vero Beach on Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape. You're watching Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape.
We just appreciate anything that anyone could give us any information on.
This is how he first met John Walsh, the 35-year-old South Florida father of a missing 6-year-old boy. A man consumed by fear over little Adam's disappearance, and a man also in a rage over the inept investigation by Hollywood police and the disinterest from federal law enforcement.
I can't give up hope.
Adam vanished from the toy department at a Sears store in Hollywood in July 1981. And so began the life's work of John Walsh and his wife Reve to protect children from predators, a danger that barely registered with people all those years ago. John still grits his teeth, remembering the FBI declining to get involved in the case.
We do white-collar crime and mafias. We don't do missing children. I said, then who does?
The answer then was no one. There were no comprehensive files on missing children or child abductions, no computer network on these crimes against children, and the idea of a stranger snatching and murdering a child barely registered with people, including John Walsh, until a friend made him see the truth.
We had to call every coroner in the state of Florida, and I said, what? He said, in case Adam's dead. And I said, no, he isn't dead. And he said, do you know there's no system, no file, no organization, no exchange of information on unidentified dead? So if Adam's in a morgue in Tallahassee or Jacksonville somewhere, they might bury him in an unmarked grave. You'll never know. You may never know your son is dead. I just got madder and madder and madder and madder.
2 weeks later, in the summer of 1981, John's anger dissolved in overwhelming grief.
I don't know who would do this to a 6-year-old child. I can't conceive of it.
6-year-old Adam Walsh's severed head was found in a Vero Beach canal. His parents could have disintegrated then, shrinking away into a life shrouded in emotional pain. Instead, they transformed their fight to find Adam into a fight to find his killer, and a fight to protect every child and take down every child predator. Where did you find the strength to become such a champion for your son?
I think it was certainly my wife and my love for Adam. I think it's the love of that little boy who we worshiped, and he was the only grandchild, and this big extended family revolved around Adam. And I think I was so angry and so bitter about the way the Hollywood police handled it, the little help that we got, that the FBI didn't get involved in the case, the heartbreak. I think the anger overcame that devastating heartbreak.
Other parents of missing or murdered children turned to the Walshes, asking for help, asking for strength. The answer for Reve Walsh became the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
She created the National Center out of our garage when the post office came one day and delivered 40,000 letters to our house from people who said, how do I get help? My child is missing. My child's a runaway. My ex-husband took my child. How did you mount that campaign?
You mount a national campaign to protect children and women with years of work, years of raising awareness, of pushing for change in Congress and getting laws passed that led to better investigative tools and the registration of sex offenders.
And it's taken years and 100 trips to Washington, 1,000 trips to Washington, and hundreds of testimonies and walking the halls, and it moves so slow for children. But a lot has changed. We have the center, we have Amber Alerts, we have social media.
I'm John Walsh, and at the top of the hour, she was kidnapped but left this diary behind.
We also got a reality TV show called America's Most Wanted. John Walsh could never have known when he was approached to do that show in 1987 how much it would transform crime fighting and social awareness of the very worst crimes over the next quarter century. It took 27 years for police to finally solve Adam's murder. Even though key evidence was lost, police finally named Otis E. Toole, a drifter and convicted serial killer who once confessed and then recanted before dying in prison as the murderer.
That Adam Walsh case isn't, it ain't true.
What isn't true? Tell me what.
I didn't do that case.
But John Walsh didn't stop fighting for innocent victims when that happened, and he won't stop now.
For the richest, most powerful country in the world, we still don't do enough to protect our children and our women. My goal would be that every police agency's #1 priority is the exploitation of children, to prevent it.
As John mentioned, one of those ways is the Amber Alert system. It began in Dallas-Fort Worth in 1996, when broadcasters teamed up with local police to develop an early warning system to help find abducted children. Amber stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. The acronym was created as a legacy to 9-year-old Amber Hagerman, who was kidnapped while riding her bike in Arlington, Texas, and then murdered. All 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands have Amber Alert plans now. You can sign up for the alerts to be sent directly to your cell phone.
There's no getaway. It was done on foot.
Ahead, the trail of evidence washed away after a close-knit retirement community becomes a target for criminal minds. On Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape. You're watching Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape.
10 years ago, some foreshadowing words were said to Helen Regine McPherson: lock your doors.
It was meant to be a simple goodbye from her loved ones on an ordinary night after dinner.
She was one of those people that you instantly liked. She was a people person, never met a stranger. She loved to cook. Oh boy, was she a good cook, yeah.
Helen Regine McPherson, a widow living on her own on this quiet tree-lined street in Vero Beach.
She had some squirrels that she would feed in a feeder out front. She was always out there every day feeding them.
She was just a homebody. She liked to work in the yard. She loved her dogs. She always had a dog. She was an animal person too. She liked squirrels and everything else, but dogs were special, you know.
Her son Doug and his wife Wanda took their mom out to dinner every week.
She could count on you every Friday night for that dinner.
Yes, she sure could. We'd be there.
Friday, July 15th, 2006 was no different.
You know, it was just the normal Friday night.
I had come home a little late from work, so I called her to let her know that we'd be a little late. And she says, that's fine because I need to go back to Target. I've got this can of peaches I need to pay them for because they forgot to charge me. So, okay.
Naturally, when we got home, we watched television, just like, you know, till 8:30. And it's usually the same program, you know, and we sit there with her just to be with her. And so then when it got time to go, then we left.
We said our goodbyes, and when I was getting ready to leave, I said, just be sure and lock your doors, you know. Everything will be all right. We'll see you tomorrow.
I think someone broke into her house to burglarize the house and murdered her. Blunt force trauma with an unknown object, and she was strangled. It's a good neighborhood.
Greg Farless is a cold case investigator with the Indian River County Sheriff's Office.
It is fairly secluded in terms of what's behind the house.
Yeah, there's a wooded area in the back.
For 10 years, the mystery of Helen's murder has haunted him.
It's a shame. She was everybody's grandmother. Everybody loved her in the neighborhood.
What stands out the most about this case to you?
The brutality of it. She was 87 years old. It didn't have to happen. This family here had noticed that there was forced entry. The neighbor next door was good friends with Helen. I saw her paper out here early in the morning, which she thought was strange because she got up early and got her paper.
We got a call from the neighbor, and she says there's something unusual and y'all probably should come over and check it out. And when we came up, you could see that the window in the door at the carport was open and the curtain was flapping through it. It was an open window. So at that point, we went inside and found her.
It was just awful, as far as I'm concerned. Because I was in Vietnam and I've seen a lot of things, but I never thought my mother would be something that I would see in this situation. It was really rough.
I don't know, there's a lot of things I've forgotten, but that's one thing you don't forget.
Investigators and Helen's family are convinced she knew her killer, and he may have been watching her every move.
We believe that she was killed sometime between the time they left to 6 o'clock in the morning.
How would they know what time we left, when we were there? I just don't know how they would know, unless they were there watching.
You think that it's somebody in this community that knows what happened to Mrs. McPherson?
The person of interest we're looking at lived in this neighborhood back during that time. 10 years has passed, and we believe that the killer has told someone, whether it be a family member or a close friend, and we're asking them to come forward. Now's the time to help bring justice for Helen and her family.
Old DNA evidence collected from the crime scene 10 years ago is now being retested with new technology, but most interesting too, it doesn't appear anything was taken. No jewelry, no electronics. So this really, Felicia, has perplexed investigators.
You can imagine. The detective in your story says there is a person of interest, though, in this case.
They do have a person of interest, and one of the theories is that the suspect went to the house, didn't hear her dog barking, went inside and surprised her. Her dog had died just 2 weeks earlier, so he wouldn't have heard, or whoever is responsible would not have heard that. And something more, just 10 days before her murder, McPherson stayed up all night with the lights on because she heard a noise and thought somebody was trying to break in. She never reported that to police. Well, the victim in our next cold case file was taken off guard. There were no prior hints of a break-in.
Cynthia Moffitt was last seen in 2006 at the Forest Oaks Golf Club Pro Shop in Lake Worth when thieves crept in during a dark and rainy night.
Cindy was alone that night, finishing up the drawer. Like Deb said, we were supposed to meet that night.
Julie Moffitt Coker never got to see her big sister Cynthia Moffitt one last time.
The evidence points toward this was a botched robbery.
Moffitt was shot twice in the chest with a 9mm.
After she was shot, she went out the back door of the clubhouse, and the evidence shows that you can actually see blood on the door leading out to the rear of the clubhouse. That was hers. And then once outside, she collapsed and fell approximately 6 feet from the back door.
A passerby discovered her body and called 911.
This is where she was found, lying face down right here on this walkway.
Palm Beach County Sheriff's detectives found several rolls of coins missing from the cash register, scattered near Moffitt's body and on the golf course.
There was no getaway. It was done on foot, and odds are the people lived in the area or within walking or running distance.
Detective Jeff Weissman believes someone out there, perhaps in the nearby Florida Gardens neighborhood, knows who killed Moffitt.
There was a witness that actually called that was driving by the clubhouse at 6 p.m. and reported seeing 3 juveniles between the ages of 15 to 20 running across the golf course from the rear of the clubhouse. And that would have been about the same time that this incident happened.
The night Moffitt was killed, there was a torrential rainstorm.
Rain, unfortunately, has a very negative impact on DNA evidence. Being that the body was found outside, some of the rolled coins that were dropped during the getaway were outside in the rain.
10 years later, investigators have few leads and are looking towards new crime scene tools to help find traces of DNA on old evidence.
You still come back here.
Yes, we do.
Talk to people, hoping that something will jog someone's memory?
Yes. I come back usually a couple times a year. We come back and put up flyers in the clubhouse.
Cindy was always like the life of the party.
As for the Moffett family, they will continue to visit the golf course where Cynthia was murdered every year on the anniversary of her death.
I hate going there. I hate reliving knowing where she was laying when they found her on the horrible, stormy, rainy night. And I just hate being there and knowing that somebody came in there in this small little semi-private retirement community and just took her life.
She just loved life. This was just senseless.
They said Cynthia always had a smile on her face. Well, her family started a Facebook page for people to post memories, a life taken for only $300 in coins.
And there is a $25,000 reward in the case. Todd?
Tim and Felicia, let's go back now to 1983. Recently, anthropologists, alongside Martin County deputies, reopened the case of baby Moses. They're hoping new DNA technology could help them find the killer.
We're not leaving until we've got every centimeter out of that ground.
Teams of people exhumed 3 graves of babies marked unknown infant at a Treasure Coast cemetery. One of them, the body of a newborn, found floating in a Martin County canal. Law enforcement named him Moses before he was buried. After extensive testing, DNA results have come back. Detectives are now pursuing possible suspects. All these families profiled tonight are still looking for some peace in their lives. Like John Walsh, the Jimmy Rice family is one of them. They've been at the forefront of turning tragedy into a form of hope. In September 1995, Jimmy was murdered by a sexual predator on his way home from school. He was just 9 years old. Juan Carlos Chavez confessed to blocking Jimmy in with his pickup truck and forcing him at gunpoint into the truck. Chavez took Rice to his trailer and raped him. Hours later, Jimmy tried to escape when he heard a helicopter. He rushed to the door and tried to run when he was shot in the back. Chavez decapitated him and dismembered the body. The body was found 3 months later near Chavez's trailer.
This guy kidnapped Jimmy. At one time, he said he thought he was going to give Jimmy back, but he didn't, and he killed Jimmy and dismembered him, and it took a long time for them to get justice, but there's just too many of these creeps out there.
That innocent little victim's family created the Jimmy Rice Center to increase public awareness about sexual predators. And since its inception, the center has also given hundreds of bloodhounds to law enforcement agencies all over the country. The Rice family believes if they had bloodhounds that day, their son would have been found.
Next on Chronicle, crime files behind the tape. 3 days before Christmas, a mother of 4 disappears. The critical moment before she vanished. You're watching Chronicle, crime files behind the tape.
Gold and cash were the possible motives for a murder at a Port St. Lucie pawn shop. The killer still at large 9 years later.
Mom brought me a bunch of old jewelry I had.
Customers who showed up to the B&B pawn shop on July 21st, 2007, found out from a note on the door the owner, Barry Peebles, was dead.
It either appears that somebody came in to kill Barry, or somebody came in and got that large amount of money that they were looking for.
Investigators believe Peebles arrived at work around 7 a.m. to buy gold from a potential customer. As the day went on and no one heard from him, police were called to pry the lock off the metal gate.
The cash register was open in the business. There was money laying on the ground, and he was shot twice in the back of the head. Whoever came in there, Barry knew that person.
The gate was padlocked from the outside, leaving investigators to believe the suspect walked right out the front door of the business.
We can't figure out what happened because it wasn't right. Something wasn't right.
Peebles had no defensive wounds, and most of the valuables in the store appeared to be untouched.
Detectives say they have a laundry list of potential suspects. They say Peebles had done some questionable transactions in the past and had murder threats before. One thing is certain, detectives believe he knew his killer. Todd and Tiff.
Felicia, our next unsolved crime takes us back to Okeechobee.
Yeah, back when most people in this small town were getting ready for Christmas, One family was frantically searching for their missing sister.
One of our local state troopers was in the area and saw her, or believed to be her, walking in an eastbound direction on that side of the road.
Detective Marty Faulkner is on a trail that's gone cold.
It's almost like she just disappeared into thin air.
Well, based on what we know today, 18 years later, that's exactly what it is.
Robin Flynn vanished from Okeechobee County just 3 days before Christmas back in 1998. The 34-year-old mother of 4 was last seen walking through town on Highway 70.
And at that time, this was a smaller intersection, but it was definitely on that side as she was eastbound.
Robin would never leave and just not come back.
No. She would have never just walked away and left her 2 daughters or her 2 sons and not came back.
After years of substance abuse, Robin's family says she was finally clean.
You must have been very proud of her.
I was very proud of my sister.
We were very
for that.
proud of her that she finally had come around.
Tim Arnold says that December, his sister was especially excited about seeing her children, at the time in state custody.
She had brought some Christmas gifts that she wanted to give to her kids. And I took her to give the gifts to her kids, but just to find out that she could not leave. And when she came back and got in my truck to go back home, she was upset, crying a little bit because they would not let her give them gifts to her kids.
That, says her brother, sent Robin spiraling out of control. Arnold and her father found Robin drinking at a friend's home.
She told me she wasn't going. Well, I lived on the far side of town, and after she wouldn't go, I said some pretty bad things that I shouldn't have said. And I drove off, and as I was looking at my rearview mirror, I could see her standing there with her head down. So I went on home.
It was the last time Tim Arnold would see his sister.
We've deemed this case as a homicide.
You think she's dead?
I do.
The next day is when Robin was spotted walking on Highway 70, possibly headed to a friend's house.
All we want to do is hoping that somebody will know something where we can find her, at least put her body to rest, to give us the peace that we need.
I just want somebody to come forward so that we can at least have closure. You wouldn't want this on any of your family.
I promised my dad, as long as I'm living, as long as I'm breathing, I will never give up looking for Rob.
You're watching Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape.
John, your newest crime-fighting endeavor is the Justice Network, seen in 24 states and right here in West Palm Beach.
That's right, Todd. To date, we've helped capture 68 fugitives, and best of all, recovered 53 missing children featured on the network.
More than 1,300 episodes of quality justice programming, rich in suspense, mystery, and intrigue.
This man is a master of disguise and a master of deception.
Plus, a public safety initiative that is becoming every criminal's worst nightmare.
I need you to come out with your hands up now.
Each hour, the Justice Network, in partnership with national and local law enforcement, alerts viewers to most wanted criminals, provides public safety tips, and has joined the effort to find missing children.
You're under arrest, did you know that? Can't figure that out.
The end result? Viewers play an active role in catching bad guys and bringing missing children safely home.
You can watch on channel 25.3 over the air and channel 209 on Comcast.
Join me on the Justice Network.
You're watching Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape.
If you have any information on the crimes profiled tonight, please contact local law enforcement and help solve these cold cases.
Your leads may help bring closure to heartbroken families across South Florida and get justice for the victims.
Now, if you missed any part of our special, go to WPBF.com. All of our stories are posted online.
And we want to thank John Walsh for joining us tonight for WPBF 25 News Chronicle, Crime Files Behind the Tape. Thank you for watching. Good night.